Hi, friends, and welcome back to Elevate with Erica. I am so glad that you're here with me today because we're going to dive deeper into what it really takes to finish this year strong. So, in our last episode, we talked about making the rest of 2024 the best of 2024, and we got into the importance of taking small, intentional steps to build momentum, right? But I know that there's still this big roadblock that we all hit eventually. And that's when the motivation kind of starts to fade. And I'm sure that you felt it. It's that dip in energy or excitement when the shiny newness of a goal starts to wear off, right? Or when the time of year, a holiday, a season, whatever, it starts to make shelving that goal sound super enticing. Maybe it's even just getting out of bed to stick to that fitness habit that you're trying to build. I'm not talking about myself. Of course, I'm not. When it's much colder and darker in the mornings, maybe it's coming home to do your workout, but your tree is up and the lights are on and that couch looks a little cozier than usual. Maybe it's all the holiday food that's coming into your work and you think, well, it's just impossible to eat healthy this time of year. So I'm just gonna like nosedive into all these Christmas cookies because I can't eat healthy and enjoy life and enjoy the season. But that's absolutely not true. And I have full confidence that you actually know that. That's just things that we tell ourselves to give ourselves a pass. You know that that is not true. You know that there is a healthy balance and that that's actually what you want to strive to strike because that's the kind of lifestyle that you want to live, not one of restriction. So today we're going to tackle two things. How are we going to stay consistent when motivation fades? And then the mindset shifts that you need to keep going when things feel hard. So this is where the real transformation happens. And if you can master this, then you'll not only finish this year strong, but you'll step into 2025 feeling unfreaking stoppable, my friend. So, how to stay consistent when the motivation fades? Well, let's get real. Motivation is like that friend. We all have one. They come to the party, right? They're all hyped up. Like they bring the party in just their energy, but then they leave before it's time to clean up the party, right? Like it's great while they're there, but they're not reliable. That's why consistency matters so much more than motivation. So here are a few tools that I use when my motivation disappears. I set a trigger. So a trigger is something that you already do that cues you to follow through on your habit. For example, if you want to meditate daily, then pair it with brushing your teeth. So when you're done brushing your teeth, you're going to sit down for 2 minutes of meditation. I actually I feel like that's the way you traditionally hear how to stack habits, but I actually like to flip that because if I know that I'm going to brush my teeth, like I'm not going to skip that, then I'm going to say that I have to meditate before I brush my teeth. I have to get that 2 minutes of meditation in before I can brush my teeth. So the goal becomes automatic. Like, okay, I'm going to brush my teeth. Wait, I got to do my 2 minutes of meditation. There's no thinking or negotiating with yourself. It just becomes part of your routine, right? When you stack it on top of a habit that you're not negotiating over, then it becomes part of that habit, right? It also becomes something that you don't negotiate. So, like for me, for example, when I was in that tough season of my life last year, and I knew that I needed a consistent journaling process in the morning that was going to help give me the mindset shift to keep showing up for my health and wellness routine, for my boys, for the business that I was building. Like I needed something that I was going to stick to daily. And so if I hadn't stacked this habit on top of something that was already something I was doing and not negotiating over, then there were days when my mindset was so low that I would have skipped that 5 minutes of journaling. Okay. But I made it so that I cannot work out until I pull out those prompts, which I've now self published into the driver's seat journal, as a lot of you guys know. I cannot work out until I open that driver's seat journal and fill out the page for today, where I set my intentions, my goals, the energy that I want to bring into the day, right? So I stacked it on top of a habit that I'm not negotiating. Next, I want you to track your progress. So there's something so satisfying about seeing your streak build up, isn't there? Whether it's on a calendar or a habit tracker app or just a notebook, tracking your progress gives you visual proof that you're showing up. So even if it's small, you look at those check marks and you remind yourself, I'm freaking doing this, right? So right now for the month of December, I am committing to this workout calendar that is the exact same workouts every week for 4 weeks. Okay. So it's only 5 workouts because it's Monday through Friday. You do the exact same workouts every day for 4 weeks. Okay. So technically, I don't really need to be like checking a calendar to see what workout is on tap for today. Right. I mean, it's all the same. It's literally 4 weeks on repeat. But I went to the program materials and printed out the calendar for this because I want to be able to be physically checking off that workout when I finish it each day. Because there is something, don't underestimate how powerful it is to get to the end of that first week when I've showed up that Monday through Friday for all of those workouts. And when you're checking off that Friday box, you're like, damn, I did that thing this week, right? I'm on track. It's just a little nod to your confidence, right? When you're halfway there, it's also like a look back, like, okay, well, I did that. I'm gonna finish strong. Like, I'm not gonna stop now. So don't underestimate, even if it's just a little silly tracker sheet, but checking the box every day to show that you've been showing up for yourself. And then I want you to celebrate those little wins. Like, you don't have to wait for the big finish line to pat yourself on the back. I want you to celebrate every single small win. Did you drink your water today? Did you move your body for 10 minutes? Did you take a moment to pause and breathe? Celebrate it. I know that this might sound super cheesy to you. And I'm not saying celebrate like drink a bottle of champagne or eat a whole chocolate cake. Not that I'm going to judge. I'm just saying that's not what we're talking about. It is possible to celebrate all of the small wins. I know it sounds cheesy, but it works. That little mental high five keeps the momentum going, even when that energy is not there. So, another step that you don't want to underestimate because you are saying negative things about yourself to yourself so many times throughout the day that you don't even realize it. It's just become the way that your brain works, right? Like just the littlest thing. You forgot something in the house, or you locked your keys somewhere, or you can't find your phone, or I don't know, right? Like you forgot to have your kids' basketball uniform ready for today. And then you're like, oh, I'm so stupid. Like, why can't I stay on track? You start bashing yourself without even realizing it. And in order to fix that, we have to realize that these little mental high fives, these little cheesy moments where you stop and you tell yourself, you know what? You're kicking ass. Like you showed up today. You did what you said you were going to do. That's not weird. Let's make it weird to only talk to ourselves when we're bashing ourselves, right? And then I want you to plan for the dips. So let's be honest. There are going to be days when you just don't want to. And I want you to plan for those days. I want you to have a backup plan, like shortening your workout to 5 minutes or choosing a simple low energy task instead. The key is to keep showing up in some way, even if it's smaller than you planned. And I need to take a page from this book. I'm just going to call myself out. And I've talked about this several times on this podcast, and I still ain't got no better at it, you guys. I've been saying I want to learn to play the guitar for years, okay? And what I do is, if I can't show up for the 30 minutes that I said I was going to do, because when I Google searched how often you should practice the guitar if you want to learn how to play it, that's how much it told me I need to do. And if I can't do what Google said, then you know what? I'm just not going to do it. It just doesn't work in this season of my life. Someday I'll have more time. Versus, I don't know if you can see this piano behind me in the back corner, but if you're on YouTube, by the way, but my husband has been learning to play the piano. He committed to doing that this year. And you know what he does? Like some days he'll play for 40 minutes because he has the time. On other days, he'll play for 5 minutes and he'll be like, you know what? Like we had a busy day, right? You know what? I'm just gonna go in here. I'm gonna play the piano for 5 minutes, okay? And then we can start the movie, like if we're doing a movie night with the kids or something. Just 5 minutes to keep showing up in some way. And that's why he's remained so consistent. And that's why he's seen so much progress playing the piano. I should be doing that same thing with the guitar. Even if I don't have time to commit the full 30 minutes, like just in some way, 5 minutes a day is a lot more than what I did this year because it's zero. So 5 minutes a day of playing the guitar, I would be leaps and bounds ahead of where I am right now, right? And for example, another example, this month I've been talking about in my Instagram stories and inviting people to join me in some 20-minute workouts. Because what I did is I surveyed the month in front of me. So I was wrapping up my November calendar where I was doing 45 minutes a day workouts, 5 days a week. And I looked at my December and what my husband and I have on the calendar, and I'm like, and I've also taken on an additional role at a local fitness studio where I'm teaching now 3 times a week. And I see that my schedule is like going to be hectic this month. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to set myself up for success. I want to be going out here to my home gym and still looking forward to showing up for my workout every day. And because that joy matters. And I want to maintain the consistency that I've had all year because consistency matters, right? So that joy and that consistency in that habit matters just as much, if not more, than the results that I'm getting physically because that's going to help me when I'm ready in January, when my schedule's a little bit more clear, to pick up that pace again, to maybe increase my workouts by 10 more minutes, right? Because I've maintained that consistency over the holidays, over my busy season. So that's another thing you can do. Just look ahead, plan for the dips, set yourself up for success, right? Don't overcommit to things that just aren't realistic for the season that you're in. Now let's talk about your mindset because let's face it, if you're not careful, then your inner dialogue is going to become your biggest roadblock. And we talked about this a little bit in the last episode. But here's the thing, when you're feeling stuck or frustrated, it's easy to start asking yourself questions like, why can't I ever stick to this? Why am I so bad at following through? Why does this always happen to me? Does that sound familiar to you? Because I hear that so much from people I'm helping to get started on their health and wellness journeys, where they're just beating themselves up in their message to me, asking for my help. Those questions are not helpful to ask yourself. They're setting you up to spiral into negative self talk. And instead, I want you to shift the narrative. Like, I want you to ask yourself better questions like, what's one thing that I can do today to make this easier? How can I set myself up for success tomorrow, right? What would the most consistent version of me do right now? Notice I didn't say what would the most perfect version of me do right now. Those are things that we get confused, right? I want you to say, what would the most consistent version of me do right now? Because that's what's going to keep you showing up, even if it's not perfect. Those questions put you in a problem solving mindset, right? Like when I selected, I was like, okay, let me be real. I can do 20-minute workouts this month happily and consistently, but I'm not sure that I can stick to the 45-hour long workouts this month, right? So that's what's going to empower you to focus on solutions instead of the struggle. How am I going to revolve my life around these workouts this month, right? No, how am I going to make these workouts work for me this month? And then I want you to stop letting perfection hold you back. So I want to remind you of this. Consistency is not about being perfect. It's about showing up even when it's messy, even when it's not exactly how you planned. If you missed a day, cool. You're human. I want you to get back on track the next day. One missed day doesn't undo your progress. Two missed days doesn't undo your progress. What matters is that you pick up and you keep going. The little mantra I love that we've all heard, progress, not perfection. Say it out loud though, because sometimes we just say that we're not actually living like that, right? We're asking what the perfect version of ourselves would have done today. Oh, she wouldn't have had that Christmas cookie at work. Mm-mm, right? No. What would the consistent you have done today? Progress, not perfection. She would have ate the Christmas cookie. And then she also would have had the salad that she packed for lunch that day or whatever. I shouldn't have used salad as an example because I hate the idea. Like when people think of healthy food, they think you have to be eating like salads and boiled chicken, but whatever. You get my drift. So when you focus on progress, you give yourself permission to be imperfect. And that's where the magic really happens. Okay. And it all starts with you. So before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Everything that we've talked about today, your consistency, your mindset, your follow through, it all starts with you. It's not about waiting for the perfect circumstances, the right timing, or a magical burst of motivation. It's about deciding right now that you're worth the effort, even if it looks like 5 minutes a day of playing the piano or 20 minutes a day of moving your body. 2024 isn't over. You've still got time to lay the foundation for something incredible. And you guys, the foundation is literally the most important part. So maybe you don't reach all your physical goals this month. Maybe that's for next month after you've laid the foundation for something really incredible to happen next month. You've laid the foundation here in December. So keep moving, keep showing up, and keep building that momentum. Thank you for spending time with me today. I believe in you, and I know that you've got what it takes to stay consistent, even when it feels tough. I don't think you'd be listening to Elevate with Erica if that were not true. If this episode spoke to you, I want you to share it with a friend who needs a little boost right now. And as always, let me know what resonated with you because I love hearing from you. So there's a text message feature in the caption on the podcast. You can comment on the YouTube video. You guys can reach out to me on my social media at any time. Until next episode, friends.